Well, welcome to another edition of GW Unspoken, where we discuss stuff we don't typically talk about but probably should. And I've got another special guest here tonight. How are you, special guest?
Very well, thank you.
Who are you?
My name is Bianca.
Thanks for joining us tonight. And I've got so many questions for you tonight. I actually can't wait to get into these questions. It's so good. I've been looking forward to this for a while. Let's check in. I know what you're going to say before we start. Let's check in. Out of 5, how are you feeling?
4.5, because there's always room for improvement.
I love that. That's so good. And what's something that you actually are grateful for at the moment?
Always grateful for my beautiful nieces. They are
Nieces?
nieces. I have 2 now.
How old are they?
Avalia will be 4 in May and Freya is 7 months.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
And-
good ages.
Do you like being auntie?
I do.
Do you spoil?
Very much
Will
so.
you spoil around Easter time? What will we?
I did Easter last weekend with the girls. So Avalia landed herself a new tracksuit. They're going to Tasmania in October, I think, so it'll still be quite cool. So new bluey tracksuit and some new shoes and
Nice.
lots of books, always lots of books.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And you can't really give Easter eggs to the young one either, can you?
No.
Do you give
No,
them some far eggs? Like what did you?
she got a new sippy cup because she's just started
nice.
drinking out of sippy cups. So she got a new one that's just hers.
You're going to be one of the favourite aunties, aren't you?
I'll try.
That's good. All right, let's summarise Bianca in 30 to 60 seconds.
Well, that's a tough one.
Put you on the spot.
I'm really not good about talking about myself. I'm a 38-year-old single woman who lives on her own with a cat. I'm not a crazy cat lady, but
You're not?
he is pretty special. Auntie, teacher,
Nice.
daughter, bit of a daddy's girl.
Yeah.
I'll admit that one.
Yeah,
Manly supporter, blues supporter.
That came out early. You're a blue supporter.
Yeah.
I can't believe you got you on the show. That's okay. We'll get.
Have I ruined it twice with the Manly and the Blues?
No. I actually used to be a Manly supporter. My dad actually gave me a hard time at a wedding about that. So yeah, used to be really. We went with Matthew Ridge and all those guys, Cliffy Lyons,
Great era of football.
Tuvey,
Yeah.
all those guys.
Steve
Also,
Menzies.
yeah,
Terry Lyon. Terry Hill.
Terry Hill, yeah,
Yeah.
all those guys. We'll get to that. Let's go back, and you just said those things that describe you, which is great. Let's take a deep dive into your childhood. Where'd you grow up, and did it affect who you became?
Probably. I was born on the northern beaches of New South Wales.
Nice.
So born in Mona Vale Hospital, beach out one window, golf course out the other. Lived at North Narrabeen. So a couple of different houses, but lived there until I was nearly 6. And then Dad got a promotion and we moved to somewhat sunny Queensland. And I've lived here ever since.
Okay,
But I am still a Blues supporter.
there's twice you've said that now already.
I like people to know that even though I've lived in Queensland longer than I lived there.
Nice. And what does Dad do?
Dad worked in the carpet industry. So he worked for a carpet manufacturer who did mainly a lot of commercial pubs, clubs, hotels.
Okay.
Yeah. So really an international carpet manufacturer. So carpet in the White House, Buckingham Palace,
Holy
major airports around the world,
How good's that?
Treasury Casino. So I've grown up in that industry.
Yeah.
Know a lot about carpet that most 38-year-old women shouldn't know about, but I do.
That's good. Handy
Yeah.
sometimes for sure.
Yeah.
And what happened was childhood was when you moved to Queensland, which school did you go to then?
So I actually started school in Sydney. So I did my
before you
first
left?
year of school down there. So I did kindy, which is like prep for those that live in Queensland.
Yeah.
So I started school at 4.5
Yeah.
and did a year of school down there. And then when we moved to Queensland, my brother's godmother lived at the Gap. So we sort of settled there to start with because we didn't really know anyone else or anywhere else.
Yeah.
And I went to St Peter Chanel at the Gap for a year and a bit. They put me into grade 2 because they deemed I'd already done the year 1 curriculum.
You're an advanced learner. That's good.
So was in with kids, nearly 2 years older than me. So socially it became a bit tricky and a bit hard for me. So we moved, after a year we moved out to Sanford. So I moved out to Sanford State School and went back and did year 2 again.
Okay.
So then was in the year level with kids the same age as me,
Yeah.
which was probably the best thing for me.
Yeah.
So the first time I ever did year 1 was the first year I taught year 1.
Well, you skipped it and just 2 twice.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Did it make you tempted to go to 4 and then miss 3?
No.
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 You're just happy with your peer group.
Yeah.
And so you at Sanford for all your primary?
Yeah, so through till the end of year 7. So we lived out there for about 5 years.
Yeah.
Moved from Sanford to Ferny Grove sort of towards the end of me being in year 6. My brother had started high school and he was at Ferny Grove High, and the driving in and out of Sanford every day was starting to wear on my family.
Yeah.
So they made the decision to move out of Sanford more into that Ferny Grove area. I didn't want to change schools at that point. I wanted to finish school with my friends. So they were still driving in and out of Sanford every day anyway.
Yeah.
But I was also I was really into swimming at that point, and there's a pool right next to the primary school at Sanford. So every afternoon I'd just walk from school down to the pool, do training, and then someone would be there to pick me up at the end of the training session.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
And then high school?
So started high school at Ferny Grove.
Yeah.
Where most people from Sanford went, because it was sort of the closest high school, closest state high.
Yeah.
And I left there halfway through grade 10 and went to Mount St Michael's College at Ashgrove.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Was there a reason behind that?
There was a very big reason behind that.
All right. You want to discuss that one?
So I was bullied in high school. So
I'm sorry to hear that, yeah.
Sort of at the beginning of grade 8, oh no, it would have been the beginning of grade 9, which would have been second year high school. The girls that I'd been friends with all through primary school, I had thought we were still friends, just all of a sudden stopped talking to me, started spreading really not nice rumours about me.
Yeah.
And basically turned a grade of 300 people against me.
Holy hell.
For no reason that I knew. And when I tried to talk to them about it, they wouldn't talk to me. That real, I suppose, girl emotional underhanded bullying.
Yeah.
The school didn't really know how to deal with it or how to help me through that.
Yeah.
And I probably spent the first sort of last half of year 9, first half of year 10 hanging out with my brother and his mates who were 2 years older than me, which probably really didn't help the situation.
But was that like a protection sort of mechanism too?
Well, yeah, and I just had no one else to talk to.
Yeah.
You know, like they would come and check on me and they'd see me at home all the time and kind of knew what I was going through, so they kind of stepped in. And he had a lot of friends that were girls as well, like their friendship group was quite diverse, and they just kind of took me under their wing as like big sisters and checked in on me all the time, and you know. That's
crazy. I know we've gone deeper that earlier on. I actually didn't know that happened in that high school area.
Yeah.
So, and I guess it's like the perfect storm, isn't it? Like going through puberty, girls. Like obviously, that's one of the most important things that women are. Girls are generally really good connectors, but also can be really harsh at times, which we can see now, especially through social media and what's happening there. How'd you get through? Like, how did you get through? Like, I know you had your brother there, but how'd you get through?
Yeah, I think I really shut down a lot. Yeah. And no one really knew the depths of it to begin with. Like I didn't really even talk about it with my parents. And I have a very open relationship with my family, but really just didn't talk to anyone about it. And it was one of my teachers actually that noticed that I was sitting on my own all the time or hanging out with the older kids all the time. And actually a male teacher, he had a conversation with me and he just said, look, what's going on? And I broke down and he said, look, this has got to change. We've got to fix this or try and fix it. But, yeah, the school in general, like the guidance counsellor at the time, it was, well, who do you want me to tell to be your friend?
Oh, wow.
And I just went, but that's not going to help the situation.
No.
And it kind of festered to a point where, look, when I reflected on it many years later, I think I added fuel to the fire by hanging out with my brother's mates. Because they were 2 years older than us. Yeah. To other girls, they might have been attractive. To me, they were just my brother's really annoying friends.
Yeah.
But I think that kind of fueled a bit of the fire of, well, why is she hanging out with them?
But isn't it amazing though, don't you think, like you're telling me the story and straight away I just think how we sort of try and blame ourselves of things. That bullying obviously wasn't your fault.
No.
But we used to always try and go, well, I've still got to own this bit. So the teacher.
Yep.
Help you get through, sounding board? Yeah,
and there were things that were holding me at Ferny Grove. So I was studying German at the school, and I studied German from year 4 till the end of year 12.
Yeah.
And heading into year 11, my year level was going to be the first to have the opportunity for a German immersion program at the school. So studying all subjects but English in German, going on tours to Germany, different things like that. And I was so excited about it. And that was the thing that I sat and I thought, I have to stay here. I have to do this. This is an opportunity I'm not going to get anywhere else.
Very brave.
Yeah, and that probably held me there for longer than I thought it would.
Yep.
And then it just kind of got to the point where I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't go to school every day and not have people to talk to.
And so it must have been tough. It must have been tough in your family too, just to suddenly say, yeah, we'll be brave enough, or we'll have the guts to say, because I know I'm older than you, but a lot of era would have been, suck it up, you'll be fine, you'll get through. Did you have much of that from your parents as well?
No, I really didn't. Like, I think they were very realistic, and my brother and I were two very different people and still are two very different people, and that for Todd, that school was perfect. It was fine. He had his mates. He's still friends with his mates. Like, he graduated high school, 23 years ago.
Yeah.
And he still catches up with his mates all the time, and you know, they were at his wedding and, you know, they pop in and visit, whereas I do not speak to anyone I went to high school with, either high school.
Okay.
For different reasons. But I think mum particularly was really realistic that my marks were starting to drop. I was always a kid that, you know, got to the end of the Christmas holidays and I was chomping at the bit to go back to school. I loved learning.
Yeah.
And that had gone away.
And what about, was there other parts of your life that was affected? Like you talk about, was sleep? Were you still swimming? Your training gone? Like, did you feel like you had lost your purpose? I know there's lots of questions here, but did you wake up dreading going to school then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to feel sick every day.
Yeah.
I didn't eat at school at all. I wouldn't say it was, you know, eating, but I'd eat when I got home, but I just wouldn't eat at school.
Yeah.
Like, reflecting, it was probably the start of a few different things for me, and it took me a long time to probably realise that actually was a trauma in life. Like, it just, I lost the love of learning a little bit and lost that love of being
Well, maybe you
at school.
associated school with that, Yeah. That's sad, isn't it? And so has it had an impact on you now? Has it made you tougher? Has it actually, do you think back and regret anything like?
I don't regret anything.
Yeah.
I think it's made me see things in different ways, particularly being a teacher.
Yeah.
Like, I listen to kids talk about experiences that they're going through, and all I think is, thank God social media wasn't a thing when I was at school, because
100%.
it was just a verbal thing I had to deal with, but it wasn't posted online. It wasn't, you know, spread like wildfire like things are today. I think it possibly has changed me a little bit, and it's made me – there's some things that have happened in life that I kind of go, oh, hang on a minute, why is that now that way?
Yeah.
But that's taken a few years of therapy as well to learn that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you think that yourself as an educator at school has a very good rapport and relationship with people, and I often see you working with the netball girls and specialist girls. Do you think it's come from what you've been through as well, or do you think it's just a natural progression? Or
I think in a way, like it really cuts me deep when I hear people experiencing stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think I struggle with the boundaries sometimes of being a teacher and what I can and can't do to help kids.
Yeah.
You know, like sometimes you just want to go in and
give them a cuddle.
Yeah. And you can't.
Yeah.
You know, it's frowned upon. And I'm like, well, particularly like jumping forward, my teaching started as an early years teacher. Like I started teaching prep. And you know what? Sometimes a 4.5-year-old just needs a hug.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
You know, sometimes they just need a hug and then they can get up and keep going.
Yeah, yeah.
But, you know, you're
but
not
the world
supposed
has
to do
changed,
that.
hasn't it?
Yeah.
Even doing a first aid course now, you have to actually ask the child if you can put a sling on them.
Yeah.
And then the child's looking at you going, that's the weirdest thing. Why would you actually have to ask that now? And then you have to justify why you actually have to say that in the first place. And then it makes the whole thing even more awkward and like, what?
Yeah.
But I get it. It's a shame you have to go through that. And so we talk about secondary school and then your friendships and then the stuff of the bullying, which obviously you got through. It must take a while to get through that though.
Oh, a long time.
Yeah.
And I think like after I changed schools, I sort of thought that was going to be the solution to everything. And then I kind of went through the same thing at Mount St Michael's, not to the extent, but there was a breakdown of a friendship group.
Yeah.
And the difference, I suppose, being that there were other girls to go to, whereas at Ferny Grove there'd been no one.
Yeah, right.
So I think it was, there was sort of a chop and change of finding my spot, and I think I lacked a lot of self-confidence at that point.
Yeah.
So I sort of didn't know what I needed or what I was looking for.
Yeah.
And
the tools, maybe not even the tools.
So really struggled to find where I belonged in that circle. And because, you've come in late to a school where, friendships and groups are already settled and situated and formed, and you're the one that's got to try and break into something.
Yeah.
And trying to find that spot was pretty hard. But, for the time I was there, I found it. For the first couple of years out of school, I found it, and then some other stuff happened, and I just kind of went, you're not the right people for me in my life.
Yeah. Once you have the confidence to go, it's me time now.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds tough. That sounds so rough. And so what's the secret to connection now? Like I know if you look at students now, do you think the girls have it harder than the boys?
Oh, yeah.
And why is that?
I think it's harder in the sense that I think social media, phones, internet, all of that they live their lives on their phones, that they can't disconnect from anything.
Yeah.
And they think that if they don't respond to someone, they leave them on red, they turn their phone off, they're not on social media, that the world is going to end.
Yeah.
And I think that plays such a huge role in what kids go through today. And I think girls in particular, if they haven't taken a photo of the outfit doesn't exist. If they haven't posted where they went or what boy they like, then someone else is going to do it instead of them.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of my mates sent me pictures today on the Courier Mail. Apparently, it says something about phones are detrimental and should be banned to at least 14. And we've known this for ages.
Yeah.
Schools are now trying to stomp it out, but it's just so hard because they live in a digital world now.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of their self-esteem comes from, or their fake self-esteem comes from their fake friends and their fake lifestyle through social media.
Yeah.
Well, talk to me about now. Let's move on a bit about university.
That was an interesting one.
Okay. I'm getting to know you. I'm getting to know about you today. I didn't know about this stuff.
And upon reflection and having I studied psychology most recently and from an interest point of view. So I've actually reflected on a lot of stuff that's happened in my life and gone, oh, actually,
that makes sense now.
That's a bit of an issue.
Right, yeah.
So over year 11 and 12, I lost both my grandmothers and a really close friend who was at school with me at the time. So my mum's mum died really suddenly when I was in year 11. And then dad's mum died. And then the day after my dad's mum's funeral, this girlfriend of mine in my year level passed away. And I was in Sydney. So I was in Sydney, had been at my grandmother's funeral. We'd taken my grandfather back to his house to start packing up some stuff for him so he didn't have to do it. And I got the message to say, Roxy's passed away.
Oh, gosh.
So I went to 2 funerals in 5 days. So year 12 kind of was not my priority.
Yeah.
I thought it was, and I, just sort of meandered along and, I still pulled decent marks. I passed all my subjects. I did all right in the QCS test and, thought, this is going to be all right, and had thought, my brother graduated 2 years before. He'd failed a subject. He'd, bombed the QCS test. He'd got an OP of 13. I thought, I've got to get better than that.
Yeah.
The day OPs came out, I was at work. Mum and Dad came to have lunch with me and didn't tell me. Apparently they hadn't been able to get onto the website to find the mark.
Lies.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. When I got home, they sat me down and they said, look, we've checked it, we've rung, we've looked on the internet, you got a 16. And I was devastated because from the day I started school, all I wanted to do was be a teacher.
Yeah.
My kindergarten teacher in Sydney, who I still get Christmas cards from every year.
Cute.
She is the reason why I went into teaching. And I was like, well, I can't get into teaching. I couldn't get into a single university degree.
Yeah.
Every degree was a 13 or higher. And I went, all right, well, guess I'm not meant to be a teacher. So straight out of school, I then went and ended up being a certificate 4 in business marketing.
Okay.
I hated it. No offense to all the people who have got marketing degrees or business. It's just not my cup of tea. So that was 6 months. Then I just worked for 6 months and, investigated different ways to get in.
Yeah.
And then ended up going to ACU to do a Bachelor of Education primary at 19, technically as a mature age student, was how I'd gained entry.
Were you mature?
No, very much not. And that, so I think that 12 months really ingrained in my head that, this is what you're meant to do. This is where you're meant to be.
Yeah.
So, Bachelor of Education primary, specialising in early childhood.
Wow.
Was the first one.
And then what happened from there?
So after the 4 years, I when you put in your application for BCE, Brisbane Catholic Education, you say where you're willing to go. I said I'd go anywhere.
Yeah.
We were living at Bridgeman Downs at the time and I got a job at Stafford.
Okay.
So here I was over that time waiting. Mum and Dad, they'd financed me purchasing a brand new car so that I'd be able to drive places. If I got a job in Toowoomba, that I'd have a safe car to drive to and from, 10 minutes from home.
All right.
So
They should have got your scooter.
so I worked at that school for 8 years and did prep for 3 years, year 5 for 3 years, and then year 1 for 2 years.
Oh, you could write a book. That'd be so funny.
It was interesting. It was a very big learning curve.
Yeah.
And then I think it was the second year I was teaching year 5, I started doing my Masters of Education in teach librarianship because I had sort of got to the point where I was sort of sitting going, do I want to be in the classroom for the rest of my career?
Yeah.
Do I want to be a full-time classroom teacher?
Yeah.
Is this it? I've always loved reading and I sort of thought, being in a library, that'd be a pretty cool job to do. You get to work with all of the kids, like in a primary library, you see all of the kids every week. Most schools do have a specialist library lesson, and I thought this is going to be the thing for me. So it took me 5 years to do it part-time, just doing a subject at a time, depending on the kids I was teaching, or if assessment was due at the same time as reporting, or, I'd chop and change a little bit. And then 2017, so I'd done my graduate interview in 2008. First interview after that was 2017.
Wow.
Or end of 2016, and got a job at a school on the south side.
Yeah.
Was living at Clontarf at the time, so I was driving from Clontarf to Victoria Point in the gateway traffic with the roadworks happening.
The car came in handy then.
Well, there was a new car then.
Oh.
New job, new car.
Wow, good parents.
That was when I started. I started leasing cars because I wasn't paying a HECS bill anymore. But so that was 6 months. And then during that time, look, this story is just going to keep going.
Yeah.
During that time, my dad got diagnosed with cancer. Mm-hmm. And they'd got it very, very early.
Yeah.
But he was having some treatment, and it was a week from hell that he'd gone to have his treatment and had a temperature. They sent him to the hospital. It was, unknown infection of unknown origins, but we need you to stay so we can monitor you. Mum doesn't drive on highways, so I'd driven from Victoria Point to Scarborough back to Chermside, and then doing that every day for a week, and just happened to be scrolling on BCE jobs and, oh, look, there's a job at Southern Cross at Scarborough.
While you're driving?
No, I wasn't. No.
Nearly got you.
No. But, like a permanent job at Southern Cross at Scarborough, I'm like, that's 10 minutes from where I live. It's 2 minutes up the road from Mum and Dad. The only thing I balked at was that it was a high school job.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if I can teach high school. Yeah, they're a lot bigger than me. My foundation was an early childhood degree, like preps. Prep 1, 2, that's where I had thought I'd be.
Yeah.
I rang an old assistant principal and I just said, do you think I can do this? And she said, I think you can do anything you want to do. I applied for it, got an interview. of which I was 45 minutes late to because of traffic.
Mm-hmm.
I felt so bad. Interviewed, got a phone call at 7:30 the next morning offering me the position.
Beautiful.
And I just went, you've got to be kidding me.
It's meant to be.
You know, so then I started at school at Southern halfway through 2017.
And never look back.
Well.
And now you've done a psychology degree now?
Yes. So I've done.
Yeah. You do love learning.
In the last couple of years, I've done a graduate certificate in psychology and a graduate diploma in psychology.
Wow. Do you like playing with people's brains yet? Are you playing with my brain right now?
No.
Okay, good.
No. It just, I think I'd always been really interested in psychology and learning development and all that sort of stuff. And it was when I started the graduate certificate, it was only 4 subjects. And I sort of got to the end of the 4 and I was like, I still actually want to learn more about this.
That's cool.
So just sort of continued doing it and just different things that you don't always think about.
Yeah.
That, actually that makes so much more sense now.
That's
and
so
even
cool.
about myself, like it was a lot of learning for me.
Yeah.
About things I'd been through and different types of therapies I'd tried and how effective they were or ineffective that they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's good you found your passion, right? And also help with some of the stuff you dealt with in the past as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, let's go a bit lighter now. Well, it's not even a bit lighter. Let's talk about that's really awesome you do that study too. It's so good. You're growing yourself all the time too. What's the best part of your day? Like work. What's the best part of work?
I just think the kids that greet you by name.
Yeah.
You know, like I understand, in a high school there's a lot of teachers for kids to remember, but those ones that make the effort of, hi, Miss Moshelle, how are you going today? Or, those ones that make the effort to use your name and that greeting actually means something.
Yeah. Effort. That's good.
Yeah.
What's the best part of your day non-work?
Depends on the day.
Yeah.
So if it's a day where I get to watch football, that's a good day. Sometimes it's just coming home and my cat talking to me when I walk in the door and telling me all about his day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And cat therapy?
Yeah.
What's the worst part of your day?
Children who misbehave and don't want to own their behaviour. So you've got to come down really tough. Whereas if they just owned the behaviour and acknowledged that they'd done the wrong thing, it'd be a really simple conversation.
Entitlement there,
Yeah.
Now I've got you. I'll put you on the spot here because I've got 3 pages of questions here. We're halfway through the first page, so it's going to be really good now. Do you have a funny story about school growing up or now as an educator? I'm sure in prep or you would have been heaps.
Funny story. I do remember the day. It was my first year of teaching prep and it had been pouring with rain, a bit like this week has been.
Yeah.
Like it had been wet all week. And it was finally not raining and we were going outside to have some outdoor play. And one of the boys came up to me because we had where at the school I worked at, it had like a big adventure playground and a sand pit and like a dirt hill that they could dig in. And
Cool.
But the sand pit was too wet, so it was covered. And he came up to me and he goes, Miss Moshelle, why is the sand wet? I went, mate, because it rained. And he goes, no, why is the sand wet? And I said, it's been raining all week. The sand is wet. And he goes, no, it's a joke. And I went, oh, go again. And he goes, why is the sand wet? I said, I don't know. Why is the sand wet? And he goes, because the seaweed.
So good. Such a good
and
one.
he cracked up laughing. And I think I started laughing more at the fact that it had taken me 3 goes to get to understand the joke.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's good.
I don't think I'll ever forget that one.
That's good. I'm going to jump now to a bit of a negative. How do you handle your ups and downs?
Not well.
No?
No. I'm a very emotional person.
Yeah.
So apparently it's because I'm on the cusp of Aquarius and Pisces. It makes me over emotional.
Do you believe in that horoscope?
Some things I do. Some things I'm very much a true Pisces in the sense of what they say of a star sign. But yeah, I've been told I'm over emotional because of that. But I do have very much ups. I've suffered with depression, obviously, that stems from the trauma of earlier on in life. But I think as I've gotten a bit older, even as I've done the study, I've learnt a little bit more about when I'm low, not to sit in that low
Yeah.
and to either talk to someone about it. You know, I find talking is something that really helps.
Yeah.
You know, a problem shared is a problem halved. As my grandmother used to
I
say.
like that one.
My grandmother used to say
Nanas
that to
know
me a lot.
everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
smart.
Yeah, or just, you know, now particularly I just go and hang out with my niece.
Yeah.
Like my Freya is just crawling, so she's not quite there yet. But I can go and sit with Avalia and we do craft and we just sit and we craft and she loves it. And then
And
she
it's
makes up
de-escalating
stories
anyway.
and yeah. And that is what can pull me out of the biggest funk.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because someone came on the show last week and said they just changed the environment. If they feel themselves going down, I don't want to, but I change the environment. It nearly happens every time.
Yeah.
And, you know, art and craft, good way to actually de-escalate anyway in the best of times. And you do it with a loved one. How cool is that?
Yeah.
I love that. That's so good. What is the most important thing you have learned about yourself?
The things that have happened to me are not my fault.
Nice.
And that your true friends will like you for who you are, not for who they want you to be.
Nice.
And that is probably the biggest and hardest thing to learn in life.
Yeah.
I really think it is, because I think we go through so much with friends, but the true ones and the ones that will follow you anywhere will accept you for who you are. They'll accept you for being the person who doesn't message for 3 months but then will pick up the phone and, you know, you catch up and it's like nothing's changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a difference between fake friends and real friends. The real friends, they'll still be there for you no matter what vulnerability you show.
Yeah.
So I love that. Here's a question for you. It's a bit deep, this one. Self-love, do you have it?
I think I'm learning.
Yeah.
I think other stuff has happened in life that I do have a real fear of rejection.
Yeah.
Which is probably why I'm 38 and still single.
Do you
maybe.
Do you unpack that?
Well, this is also why I'm no longer friends with anyone I went to high school with. Sort of the first couple of years out of high school, still hanging out with the girls I'd gone to school with.
Yeah.
And there was a guy that I'd worked with that, you know, we'd sort of spent a couple of years building a relationship.
Yeah.
We were in a relationship together.
Yeah.
We'd gone out one night. He went and stayed. I went home. He went and stayed at one of the other girls' places. I found out the next day that they had hooked up.
Okay.
My understanding of hooking up and theirs was obviously different.
Yeah.
Basically, they'd slept together.
Yeah.
Neither of them told me for months.
Yeah.
And I sat on this information and waited.
Yeah.
And when they told me, I just went, yeah, I know. They're like, how do you know? I was like, well, so-and-so told me. You know, like a friend who wasn't part of my friendship group had said, hey, do you actually know that this happened?
Yeah.
And that was sort of, I suppose, I really, really liked this guy and I had put in so much time and effort into this relationship. Like I was in my first year of uni doing 5 subjects.
Yeah.
Like struggling to find
Showing your
time.
vulnerabilities.
And any time I had, I was with him.
Yeah.
And that was kind of, I just kind of went, I don't even know why I'm stressing about this. So my focus then went solely to uni, work, my life, what was I doing, traveling.
Getting busy.
You know, while at uni lost my grandfather as well. You know, like things were happening in life that wasn't a priority for me.
Yeah.
But that in a way, I suppose, stilted what I had as my life projection.
Yeah.
So then flash forward 10 years and it's, you know, your 28th birthday and you're standing at the school photocopier and you just burst into tears for no reason. And then I kind of went, you know, by 28, I actually thought I'd be on my way to a family.
Yeah.
You know, you'd have a partner, you'd have, you know.
A stereotypical life.
Yeah. You know, what you've been, I suppose, brought up to think is the norm.
Yeah.
And that was probably the start of me realising that there were some things that weren't right in me.
Yeah.
You know, that I needed help with. And that was when I sort of first saw a psychologist.
Yeah.
And I won't ever hide that fact because I think it's important to find the people that are going to help you.
100%.
And if that's a medical professional, that's
100%.
great. If
Yeah.
it's not, if it's a teacher at school, if it's, mum or dad or your friend or a friend's mum or dad,
Yeah.
whoever it is that you can open up to, for me it was professionals. And it took a couple to find the right people. But then, I sort of thought, yeah, okay, I've dealt with that. I've got some strategies in the bank. This is just not me right now.
Yeah.
I don't love when my birthday comes around,
Yeah.
because it's sort of the same thing every
Another
year. I
time
kind of
together.
sit there and I go, hang on a minute, you're pushing 40 and
Yeah.
what have you got to show? It's putting a different spin on it, that my life has taken a different trajectory, and maybe my life is that I'm going to be the world's greatest auntie to whoever comes along.
Yeah.
And that's my role.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what my role in life is. And that's taken a lot of years and a lot of deep inner thought of,
Acceptance, if that is the case,
yeah.
which we both know is not necessarily the case.
Well, particularly in this day and age, there's always different ways to get around things. But, I just kind of think I love spending time with those girls and, I love them to bits. And if that's what my life is, well, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a relationship with them than not have them in my life at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know this does not solve or deal with what you're talking about at the moment too, but the students are blessed that they've got someone like you in their corner too, because the rapport you have and the experience you have, your degrees, your learning, you're always growing those, especially those young ladies I see with you too. So, not saying it's the same filling that cup, but you do have a purpose, which is so good for those kids.
I don't actually even know if I answered the question that you asked then.
I think so.
Okay.
I was going to ask you before, I was sort of blended a question, but what do you think the secret of connection is? Is it being vulnerable to find your authentic self and other people authentic?
Yeah, I think it's being honest.
Yeah.
I think being honest, particularly with kids, like as soon as they see you saying, oh, look, this is who I am. This is every time I get a new class, I do who I am.
Yeah.
Who am I? This is me. This is what I'm going to share with you. And I'm open and I say, I have a brother, I have 2 nieces, I have a cat, I have,
Yeah.
and I think that helps them see that I'm just a person.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like them. I'm a person.
Yeah.
And everyone is a person first.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes in the busyness of education that can be forgotten.
Yeah.
That we get so, I suppose, ingrained on the fact of this is the content we've got to teach and we've got to get it taught by this point in time, but they're just kids.
That's right.
They really
And
are.
not everyone's suited to school.
No.
And everyone's got so much to offer as well, which is so cool. Here's a question that you may not have an answer for, all right? But the podcast is called Unspoken.
Yes.
And it's about things we should talk about but we don't. Do you think there's something in life or society at the moment or what you come across that people have their masks on or don't speak openly about but probably should?
It is a hard question.
Hmm.
I just think that I suppose that now with social media and reality TV being a thing, you see that there's all these masks that go up that people put on, like whether it's a filter on a picture or, but it's just about, I think, really people just need to be their true authentic self. And if you're your true authentic self, there shouldn't be things that are unspoken.
Yeah.
Like obviously you're not going to have the deep and meaningful conversation with every person that you walk down the street with. But once you build a rapport with someone, you should feel comfortable and safe enough
to find your
have
tribe.
any conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well said. I like that. That should be the new slogan. I like that. Oh, I was on the next page now.
Oh, gosh.
How you going over there?
All right.
Well. You're smashing this. This is so good. It's like this has all been I actually said to someone the other day, I said, I want you to listen to the podcast, see what you think, like someone I respect. And they got back and said, yeah, I liked it, but I loved all the you could tell they were fixed questions. They knew the questions. Said, no one actually knows the questions before they come on.
No, the questions were not shared with me before I spoke about this.
That's good. That's what I'm speaking. It's authentic, all right? You said it. Here's the one. This is like quick questions, all right?
Okay.
What is your morning routine?
I said this to you before. This is really bad. I'm really not a morning person.
Yep.
So my morning routine is get up, wash my face, brush my teeth, get dressed, get the cat up because he sleeps in the bathroom at night.
Oh, okay.
He gets locked in. So get him up, feed him, walk out the door. I don't do breakfast.
That's it.
Yeah.
You're stressing me out.
I know I'm stressing you out. I eat breakfast sometimes when I get to school. Sometimes I just don't.
All right. What's the best compliment you've ever received?
Actually, it happened recently, and I did share this with you, that I was very open with a class of Year 10 students that I teach about what I'd gone through during high school, and I actually received an email from a student thanking me for being open and vulnerable, and I think that's probably, you know, if I've reached one student out of the 150 that I do, or the 90 that I teach, it makes it worth it.
And due to confidentiality, we can't say that person is, but you did share the email and that person is a legend. And I'm glad I actually
very much so
went and tapped you on the shoulder for that. So good. What's your favourite pastime activity and why? It's watching footy, isn't it, for sure?
Oh, yeah. But do you know why?
Why?
Because I always watch it with my dad.
That's cool.
So Dad and I, as much as we can, we watch the Manly games together. And that's it's something we've done for years. It's a him and me thing. That's cool. You know, he used to do it with my grandmother. You know, they used to go to Brookvale Oval together.
Nice.
You know, Nana would pack the esky with the sandwiches and she'd sit down at the bottom of the hill, and then at halftime all Dad and all his mates would go down the bottom of the hill and visit with Mrs. Morshell and have lunch and then go back up the hill.
And was it at home, is there like a certain food you often have, or was it just doesn't matter?
Recently it's been like a sausage sizzle on the barbecue.
Good. That's good.
Yeah, so because we've had a lot of Sunday afternoon games of late. Okay. So, yeah.
Okay.
The last few have been a Sunday Arvo game. So it's been a sausage sizzle and yeah.
Lovely. Now, you did say before that you knew you were going to be a teacher early on because of an influencer, but did you ever want to be anything else when you were a kid?
So it was teacher or hairdresser.
Why hairdresser? Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know where that came from.
You got conversations. That'd been perfect.
Yeah, but I get really bad eczema and dermatitis, so it kind of got ruled out
early.
Yeah.
Okay.
My hands wouldn't hold up to chemicals and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Okay, here's one. What is the biggest misconception people have of a teacher librarian?
That they're old and that they shush people all the time.
That's true. These are strict librarians all the time.
Not in our library.
That's cool. Okay, going to deep ones and then like easy ones. What is one of your biggest challenges in life?
Having confidence in myself.
Okay.
And knowing that I am worth more than what I think I am.
See, the problem I see with you right now is that you're pretty switched on and now you're doing a psychology degree, so you'll be talking to yourself in the second, third, fourth person, whatever else now. So
yeah.
If I see you start talking to yourself, I'll just back away. I'll go, whoa, she's got this covered, don't worry.
I just overanalyze things. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you want to be remembered? If you went to your eulogy, if you could see your eulogy right now and you could write your own.
Oh.
Yeah. I reckon it's one of the best things you do in goal setting, by the way. Write your own eulogy.
Yeah, I just don't like to think about death though.
No, well, okay.
I actually really don't know.
You don't know?
I'd like to think that I've made a difference in someone's life.
Okay.
Or in people's lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like socially, emotionally, you mean? Like you build their confidence maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, nice.
You know that what I've experienced in life can help make a difference in someone else's.
I think you're doing that now.
Thank you.
What would you change about yourself if you could?
Oh. Maybe eat more vegetables. Rach
got us dinner ready for us because she's popped out and I was watching you with the veggies. Very good.
Look, it's been a lifelong curse. What would I change about myself if I could? I don't want to be that person and say I'd like to change my weight or this or that because I think I've accepted that at this point.
But that's superficial stuff anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Maybe just my ability to put myself out there.
Okay.
And take the rejection if it comes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this next chapter. It's going to be good.
Oh, gosh.
So going on from that, so there's a couple of deep ones here.
Yeah.
What does Bianca see when she does look in the mirror? So yourself, your inner self.
So a lot of I've gone through a lot in terms of superficial stuff, but, you know, weight, skin condition, like all of that sort of stuff. And I think now I've kind of just got to the point where I can accept me for me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm nearly 40
But that doesn't create you,
yeah. It doesn't change who I am inside.
Yeah.
You know, I am who I am. My brain makes that happen.
Yeah.
So who I am on the outside, I have to accept it.
Yeah.
And if I accept it, other people just have to get over it.
Yeah. Okay.
You know?
So who do you see?
Who do I see?
So you're at home, say if you're at home by yourself and you're cleaning teeth, getting ready for work and you just got that 30 seconds or 10 seconds looking at yourself in the mirror, what do you see about yourself? Who are you?
I'm Auntie B. If nothing else in my lifetime, if I make my nieces' lives better, then
that brings you joy, brings you confidence, brings you relaxation with the art, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, what's the most important lesson you've learnt in life? You're only a baby, 38. Come on. But there's got to be some lesson you've learnt already.
That Manly are the greatest football team to live. That's a very important lesson that I've learned. That you've just got to bounce back up sometimes. You know, it might be hard, but nothing's going to change if you just fall on a heap and crumble.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
You got to find a way back up.
There's always a workaround, right?
Yeah.
That's good. What are you proudest about yourself so far in life?
I think moving through and getting help when I needed it.
Yeah.
That was a really big thing for me because I had sort of just particularly going through high school, it was just sort of, you know, I can just deal with it. You know, I'll just deal with it myself. But yeah, getting help and talking about it, because I think, you know, we all know that there's this culture that, you know, you don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Particularly amongst men and young men. But I think that really needs to change.
Yeah.
That there is no weakness in speaking.
No.
It's actually a strength.
That's right.
And if you have the strength to admit that, hey, I need help, you know, I need someone to help me through this, then that's the
bravery.
beginning and end. Yeah.
That's bravery. It's so good.
Yeah.
What is a unique thing about you?
I don't know.
Is there something you don't know about you? You used to do this on footy camps and say the boys go away and you say, rightio, what's a value you love about people? What's a value you don't like about people? But what's something someone does not know something about you about? Like, what is it they don't know? Is there anything that the people don't know?
Trying to think.
Mm-hmm.
I cross stitch.
Do you?
Yeah.
Live with a lady who used to do that out west.
Yeah. I haven't done it much recently, but it got
therapeutic?
Yeah.
Nice.
That and Lego.
Lego.
I like following a pattern.
Yeah.
I have OCD tendencies as diagnosed.
Pattern. So this is no good for you about questions, no questions out front.
There's a reason why I'm a librarian. You know, things have an order and a very specific order.
So is your place neat then?
No.
Oh.
No, my house is an absolute shambles.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's my comfort zone. So because that's my comfort.
That's where you can let it all go maybe.
Yeah. And because I'm on my own.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect anyone else but me. But when it's a space that affects other people, if it's not right, that gives me anxiety and stresses me out. So like I walked into the library this morning and all the furniture had been moved because there was an information night. I'm like, but I have to move this. I have to fix this. I could not focus on anything else until that had been fixed.
Right.
Yeah.
I know your personality style now. We're going to do your quiz tomorrow.
OCD.
No, I know what you are. Love the order, yes. All right. Here's a bit of a compounding sentence, I believe it is.
Oh.
Well, it's probably just 3-4 questions in one. Do you have any regrets? What are they? And have they had an impact on you?
A regret is probably not getting help sooner than I did.
Yep.
So really not dealing with what I'd gone through in high school earlier.
Yep.
That's a regret. What was the second part?
What were they? So that was that.
Yeah.
Have they had an impact on you? So
Yes.
obviously they did.
Oh, huge impact. And I often wonder if I'd got help sooner,
Yeah.
would my life have taken a different pathway? Like would my trajectory have been different in life? Would I be in the same spot I am?
Yeah.
Or a bit of a matrix, I suppose, a bit of a matrix style thing.
Yeah.
You know, do you take the red pill or the blue pill?
Yeah.
But which way would my life have continued on this path that I'm on now, or would it be different?
Yeah.
And would I be in a totally different way of life?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bit of a sliding doors thing.
Yeah.
For all those oldies
It
out there with
sounds
that
like to
movie.
me, and it could be wrong. It sounds to me like it sounds like you're at that tipping point right now where you've got your ducks in a row. Like you've got your psychology degree,
Yeah.
get through stuff. You're still working on conference that, but you've got relationships, quality relationships in life.
There's still things that I would like
Yeah.
that I don't know if all the ducks are in a row.
Yeah.
Maybe just 4 of them, not 5 of them.
Okay.
Sorry, I do 5 little ducks with Avalia at bath time. Yeah, with rubber ducks, and we hit them off the side of the bath.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any questions you wish I would have asked you tonight that I haven't touched on?
I'm always happy to talk more about football, netball.
Okay. Where'd the love of sport come from, Dad?
Yeah, well, Dad's side of the family.
Yeah.
So my grandparents were both staunch Manly supporters as well.
Yeah.
That's a family history. Look, Mum supports the West Tigers, so, you know, it's just.
Oh, Dad will win the weekend too.
Yeah, well, she grew up in the western suburbs, so, you know, on the other side of the bridge.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think just from really early on, like it's just always been there, I suppose. We've got Avalia. Avalia recognises the logo. She knows.
That's cute.
She knows that
There's
it's
a
Manly.
seagull. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, I can't wait to get her at a game.
Yeah,
I think that'll be so good.
Take her there now. She's old enough.
Oh, but the games up here are always late, the Manly games.
That's all right.
She doesn't understand when it's not a Manly team. Yeah, though.
You need like a Sunday Arvo one.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we'll get there.
You'll be, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I do know you are passionate about it because you've got a leaderboard in the library, don't you?
do.
Yeah. Who's up the top at the moment?
Oh, the Cowboys.
Yeah,
But you know
okay.
the really important thing? I'm above the Storm.
Yeah, like the Storm, do you?
I really don't
I've got a
like
mate
the
who
Storm.
doesn't. This is a contentious issue right now. This is where I don't know if you've been telling the truth tonight because the Melbourne Storm play structured football. They're completely a structured team.
But they are also the biggest team of whingers and whiners.
Oh, see, I don't know.
And Cameron Smith was the biggest cheat. Sorry to all those people who are Queensland supporters and like
He'd be the
Cameron
first
Smith.
person you pick on a side though, wouldn't you? Because everyone just plays around him.
Nope.
Who would be?
Matt Ballon. I would
People don't even know who that is.
If I was picking a hooker, I would be picking Matt Ballon. He scored the opening try in the 2008 grand final where we beat Melbourne Storm 40-0.
Did too. Was Cameron Smith playing that game?
No, because he got suspended from
That's
the game
right.
before.
That's right. All right, jeez.
Yeah, I know.
Getting very
I
passionate
know that history. Don't worry.
here. We're getting very patient here. All right, this is coming back to one of the most fun parts of the evening here. I'm going to ask you some quick questions.
The last ones were supposed to be quick too.
I know, but that was good.
They weren't.
No, that was good though. You've got those deeps. That's good. All right, ready?
Yeah.
First thing that comes in your mind. Here we go. Try and keep it PG. Favorite drink? Are you actually an alcohol drinker?
I do. I'm a bit into ginger beer, but very specifically the Brookvale Union ginger beer
Okay, because there's Brookvale in it.
because it comes from Brookvale.
Stop it.
It's brewed by Four Pines.
Is that your favorite drink?
Yeah.
Okay. Now you're a reader. This is a tough one. What's your favorite book?
Oh, Harry Potter.
Is it?
Harry Potter series.
See, I can't stand Harry Potter.
But it has to be the whole series. You can't ask me which one is my favorite book because you cannot pick one in isolation because they go together.
This is what I struggle with. Maybe you can help me out. You're a bit more educated than me. How can you have Superman is like the ultimate superhero in the world,
Yep.
wears his undies on the outside, all that cool stuff.
Yeah.
And then you got Harry Potter who wears glasses and not on a broom and he's supposed to be cool. I don't understand.
Because the nerdy kids have got someone to look up to.
Okay.
A pair of glasses doesn't not make you a superhero. Superman, you've got to admit, Superman's disguise is pretty poor.
Why?
The
Clark
effort-
Kent.
Yeah, it's a bit As if people don't realise he's Superman.
He's got his glasses on and he's a bit of a nerd. I love him.
He is my favourite superhero.
Yeah.
He and Batman, but I don't really think Batman's a superhero.
Neither do I.
There's a
I
controversial
can get
statement.
divorced if I keep talking about that, though. But anyway. Favourite movie of all time?
Oh, there's a few. I have a few.
Do you have like a top few?
Yeah.
Can you share some?
So Grease.
Oh, yeah. Grease
Yeah.
1. Grease 2 was terrible.
Grease 2 was terrible, but it has some good music. It has some
Yeah.
really catchy songs in it.
Yeah,
but
Reproduction, that was a good one.
yeah, terrible, terrible movie.
GW Unspoken After Dark. Yes, come on.
I love the Mighty Ducks series.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good throwback one.
Yeah.
I keep talking about Cool Runnings lately. I don't know why,
Yeah.
but it's one that's just
Parker,
keeps.
love
I
that.
just it just keeps coming back to me lately.
Yeah.
I've been watching the Fast and the Furious movies again.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah,
Fast
I'm not a fan of
cars,
the cars ones.
you
I just
know.
like that too.
Yeah,
Okay. We watched actually Ford versus Ferrari the other day. That was good.
yeah.
Have you seen that?
No,
There you go.
I work
Yeah,
in.
homework.
I have a second job working in a cinema. Have I watched a movie there yet? No.
Popcorn, Coke Zero movies. That's a perfect day. Are you a lolly or chocolate person?
Oh, I'm both.
Mm-hmm.
I have a real sweet tooth.
Do you have like a couple of favourites you're going to share here? Like the lemonade lollipop or something?
Because it's Easter. No, that's you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
You love the lemonade lollipops. Because it's Easter, I found the other day at the shops, and I got really excited, clinker bunnies.
Oh,
So they're like a solid chocolate bunny with bits of clinker in them,
okay. Nice.
and also fruit tingle Easter eggs.
Oh,
So they got fruit tingles inside the Easter egg.
I'm going to get one of those for sure. Yum. That's good. I love fruit tingles. Okay. Favourite song style, artist? Are you a Tay-Tay girl?
Look, they're catchy.
Yes.
I can sing along to most of them.
Yeah. Do you want to sing tonight?
No,
Okay.
no,
righto.
you don't want me to sing.
After fridging your beers, we'll see how we go.
I
Okay.
do. I'm a top 40 kind of girl, but more like the 90s, 2000s
Okay.
pop stuff.
Nice.
Yeah. Bit of
All right.
music, throw a bit of musical theatre in there too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Favourite colour?
Pink.
Favourite asset you own?
Does my cat count
Yeah, I was
as
going
an
to say
asset?
cat. Favourite holiday destination?
Oh, that's a tough one. New York.
Okay. I was going to say favourite superhero. You said Harry Potter.
No, he's not a superhero.
No, he's not.
No.
No, he's not.
Wonder Woman.
Really? Okay. Power of the women.
Yeah.
Favourite cheese? So I thought I'd throw a random one in there.
Look,
You're staring at what the hell is that question?
will I quote from She's the Man and say, I really love Gouda?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Favourite type of meat?
Oh. Bacon.
Ooh. Favourite fruit?
Banana.
Favourite vegetable? This will be tough for you.
Don't eat many potato.
Okay.
Really bad one for you. But
White
there you
potato?
go. Yeah.
Okay. Favourite restaurant?
Or look, I'm going to say Rustic Olive is up there.
That is good.
Yeah.
Good pasta. That's
Yeah.
so good. What's your favourite season of the year?
Autumn.
Nice.
I don't like heat.
No, me either.
I don't like humidity.
And plus, that's when all the Aries was born too.
And when it's cooler, you can add layers and make yourself warm.
That's right.
I like snuggling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Oh, I forgot a movie.
Oh, God.
10 Things I Hate About You.
Oh, you like that one, do you?
I'm in that one.
What do you mean?
The main character's name is Bianca.
Oh, stop it. Oh, my God. Favourite kids TV show?
Bluey.
Nice.
Can't go wrong with it.
What's your favourite app on your phone?
The NRL app
Okay, good. Yes.
or the Manly app. One of them.
Okay. I was going to say winter or summer, but you prefer winter, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your favourite character trait from a human?
Kindness.
What's your worst character trait from a human?
Entitlement.
What's the best way to show gratitude?
To me
No, to
or
others.
just in general?
Yeah.
Well, having listened to your life skills classes, it would depend on their love language
Very
and
good.
what they like.
I like that.
So if you're going to show gratefulness to someone, you need to know what they want or need. You know, it could be words of affirmation. It could be,
Look at you go.
yeah, look at me.
You're
I
gonna
do.
take
See,
over
I
my
listen.
job.
No, I'm
Jeez.
not. Trust me, I'm not.
That's
I can't.
good.
I can't do lawn bowls or make Rocky Road. They're not gonna. They're not gonna want me.
That's the only reason why they like me. What's your best clothing accessory?
Oh. I don't know. Earrings.
Earrings.
Yeah.
What is the best way to give back to community?
Oh, that's a good one. That's not a quick think question,
No, it's not.
It's not a.
It's my last one now, the quick one too.
Yeah. I don't know, but I think it needs to be authentic because it's obviously it depends on the community.
Yeah.
And what that community needs.
See, I think you've done that already. The way you talk to people and you say you're up front to people, I think you're showing that vulnerability up front. I think that's giving back already because you're giving part of yourself and making them feel like, geez, you're vulnerable. We can afford to be vulnerable in this space.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty deep. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Okay, ready? 3 to go. Last meal, what would it be?
Chicken schnitzel and potato bake.
Hey, that
made
was
by Mum.
very quick.
It's my birthday meal every year.
Is it?
I don't even need to request it.
It's got veggies.
It's got potato bake. That's not a vegetable.
Potatoes?
Yeah, I said potatoes were my favourite vegetable.
Yeah, but I thought you were going to avoid them altogether. No, that's good. Okay.
No.
Bianca's got her last $20. What is she buying?
Oh. Possibly some Lego, if I could get any for $20.
Yeah.
Or shoes for Avalia.
Nice.
Yeah.
Always giving again. So nice.
Yeah, but her shoes are a lot cheaper than mine.
Yes.
Yeah. Hers cost $10. Mine
Get a
cost
couple of pairs.
$120.
Fun size, see?
Yeah.
All right. You're on a desert island. You're allowed to take 3 people. Anyone you want.
Oh.
Anyone you want. You can't take a cat.
Okay.
You can't take Avalia. She's too young.
Okay.
All right. We can take 3 of anyone in the whole world. Who are you taking for 3 people?
Dad?
Yep.
See, I'm a daddy's girl.
You are?
He's going to be there.
There's no reception, by the way, so there's no watching Manly.
Okay. We could still talk about it, though.
You can. That's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Dad, do they have to be living people?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
You don't take a dead person on the island. What are you doing? You've been watching a live or something.
Who else would I take? Dad. I wouldn't take my brother because we'd just fight constantly. I could take my sister-in-law, Maxine, because she's a really good cook.
Smart.
So she can make stuff out of anything.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Anything with a good coconut base, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Take us on the island. Yep.
And look, I'd have to say Mum. Like
Yeah, okay.
I am still a kid at heart.
Yeah.
I need Mum and Dad.
That's good.
Life does not happen without
That's
them.
still good.
Yeah.
See, I was surprised. I thought you might just pick 3 Manly players. But I thought, here we go. This is going to be interesting.
No, because do you know what? I get really nervous.
Oh.
Like Dad and I in 2008, we went to the home venue semi-final, and Brookvale Oval is a very different field in that you can, on a general admission ticket, you can walk around the entire stadium.
Yeah, nice.
And because the dressing rooms are so terrible, I think they've improved them with their new centre that they've built there, but the players don't spend a lot of time in them. So they'll come out, like if there's a game before it, they'll come out and watch it when they don't have to be in warm-up. So when you're walking around, there'll be players around near the tunnel.
Yeah.
So we're down there and I'd gone for a lap around and came back and Dad's like, who did you see? And I was like, Daly Cherry Evans was there and Anthony Watmow was there and, he goes, any Melbourne players? I said, yeah, Billy Slater was there, but that was all right, Dad. I just kept walking. And he's like, well, did you get a photo with any of them? I was like, no. I said, I can't ask that. He goes, oh, come on. So he had to come with me to ask if I could have a photo.
And were they happy with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
But I would never.
Not by yourself.
I wouldn't walk up to them and say.
Yeah. Can I have a photo?
Yeah. And then that night as well, because my brother, one of his mates, it's, one of those convoluted connections, but one of his mates' sister was married to Matt Ballin, who was the Manly hooker.
Yeah.
So we then went back to the Leagues Club, got taken into the players' area, and then all of a sudden there's Jeff Tuvey and Steve Menzies and like people.
Two of the greats.
Like had my photo taken with Steve Menzies and the person who was taking the photo couldn't get the camera to work and he goes, it's okay, we'll just cuddle a little bit longer. And I'm just like, oh my God. Oh my God.
I can die and go to heaven.
Yeah. Yeah. Favourite Manly player of all time.
He is good. Scored some tries to the Beaver, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Of course, scored the last one in that grand final.
You
They
remember
got
that.
him over the line for his last Manly game.
There you go. It was meant to be.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I love having you on the show. Thank you for so much for coming out and expressing all your vulnerability. And I think that's one of your biggest qualities because that's why people will trust you. And I think you've got so much to give more than you probably believe you have from what I see at school too, but also with your authentic interactions you have with also staff.
Thank
so
you.
Appreciate you being here.
Thanks, Gary.
Thank you.